Hey, y'all, listen. I see some people trying to get in the building, but the platform is on lockdown. It's on lockdown. We are packed, people. We are packed, okay? Locked down. But as you come in the building, hit the like button. But the train is packed. We're rocking, rolling, and we're ready. What is it? It's Trending Topics Tuesday, people, and we got a lot to chat about. Okay, let me tell you this. You know what? Over here, I say it's your business who you vote for. I am not here to make nobody decision. But you know me, I'm also neutral. I could like you, and if you do wrong, I'm going to call you out. I could not like you. You do wrong, I'm going to call you out. But one thing we got to do over here is y'all need to give it up for the VP. Yeah, for VP Harris, who's going to wants to run to be the president. First of all, she made history. This is not Diva making it up. This is not me putting 2110. In a 24-hour period, that sister made history and raised $81 million to run for this campaign. You need to give it up for a sister. And I don't care what you look like what you see in the mirror, whether you black, brown, yellow, orange, green, or whatever the case may be. If you are a female, holla, because we coming up just with that precedent right there. That's just to show the people how to do it at the 11th hour. But you know what? Traditionally, if you want to really go with it, traditionally, the woman we always pull through. Husband told, come home, tell us he lost his job. We ain't got no food. We ain't got nothing to eat. You be like, give me $20. And we will come back and we'll make breakfast, lunch, and dinner with that $20 for 4 people in the household. We know how to do it. Remember that commercial, bring home the bacon fried up in the pan? We know how to do it. We are woman hands raw. And you know, a lot of men that are successful in business, if you want to tell the truth, it was their wife that helped raise them up. Their wife, their girlfriend. It was us. We don't get the credit. Kevin Hart wasn't funny since he left the first wife because the first wife said she was writing the jokes. I didn't say this. His wife did. His ex-wife did. And the new PYT that he got and he married now, she just know how to shop, spend the money, and have the babies. She don't know how to sit there and write him no jokes. Yeah, what's her name? Tori Hart. Tori Hart said she was writing the jokes. And if you go back to his funny days, it was when he was with Tori and she was probably allegedly writing the jokes. Come on, Flip. Choo-choo. Give the lady some credit. We never get the credit, but we are the machine behind a lot of these men. Biden stepped down. They told her she got to step up. She stepped up and she showed up and showed out. And somebody said 100 million. Whether it was 100 million or 81 million, she did the darn thing. She made history. They said U.S. history of raising that much money for a campaign in 24 hours. And right now, the people are tossing the money at her. Everybody ain't struggling right now. People like, oh, the economy bad, is struggling, is that. It ain't everybody because the people are throwing the money at her. She's stepping on money. She's sleeping on money. She's waking up to money. Money falling out her pocket. Give it up to VP Harris because she's doing the darn thing. But she's not on the docket tonight. I just had to do a little friendly mention to say, honey, if you know the Bible says, and I ain't telling what nobody believe over here, but the Bible says if you found a woman, you found a good thing. Men, wake up. You know y'all want to get with these PYTs. Y'all want to dump out the one that been by your side the whole time and trade her in. And when you trade her in, you catch a whole lot of heat and mess. What's Miley Cyrus' dad name? Yeah, he traded in his wife that he been with for decades. Got him a PYT, fire rolls, and she ain't been nothing but fire to him. He said he lost $10 million last year. He said she charged up his credit cards. But that's what he get. Thank you, Billy Cyrus. Thank you, Lawson. Billy Cyrus. That's what he get. That's what he get. That's what he wanted to do, and that's what he gets. So let's move on to tonight's docket here, trending topics. I'm glad y'all in the building. I hope y'all are purchasing your ticket by hitting the like button. I hope you're doing that. Okay? Purchase your ticket, hit the like button. So hold on, guys. You know what? In my opinion, let me bring you up because I don't know who keep buzzing me. Hold on. Take over for a minute, in my opinion.
Okay, I got you, Diva. Hey, y'all, while y'all listening, please hit the like button, okay? Diva come here every night, y'all. And Kamala Harris is doing it, okay? Got 7 million from the owner of Netflix. 7 million. I'm telling you. I don't know if she gonna win, but I got some faith now. Yes. Yes, please hit the like button, everybody. Hit the like button. Get those likes up, okay, everybody? It is free. It is free. Hit the like button. Yeah, wow. I know. It's all over Twitter. And Windows cell phone with the 40,000 women, win with black women, did they raise. So they raising up the money. I think she might win too. I do. I think she might win. She got a lot of support right now. So I hope everybody has already registered to vote. I hope y'all already done did y'all check. Remember, our democracy is on the line, so vote, vote, vote.
All right, thank you. In my opinion, I'm sorry, y'all. I had a quick emergency. All is well. All right, I'm sorry because I was like, why does this number keep calling me? All right, so all is well.
Don't worry,
right.
I knew it was emergency.
Yes. All right, so listen, guys. Trending topic Tuesday. Okay, I had to get my bearings back together here. Trending topic Tuesdays: unprotected, disrespected, and misdirected. We gotta talk, y'all. Okay. The first story, very sad. This Sonya Massey, Illinois, she called the cops for help and she ends up being unalived by the cops. They told stories. They first said she did it to herself. Then they said somebody else did it to her. And then the body cam footage showed us the true story. And now her family, they are screaming out for justice. This is happening too much. And listen, let me tell y'all something. We know about it now because of these body cams. We know about things like this now because of people with their bravery and their cell phone footage. But I will bet my bottom dollar this has been happening. But the only reason why we never got the true story is because they was able to cover it up. This is sad. It's horrific. So let me tell you this. As a nurse, they train you on how to handle situations. They train you. And there are jobs that you should not sign up to do if you're not ready. But the worst part about it is they said he worked at 6 different, are y'all hearing me? 6 different precincts. 6. And was released from those different precincts because of aggressive behavior. A mother, a daughter is gone. Continue for me, in my opinion. I'm sorry, I got to grab this.
Okay, I got you. Yes, that is a very sad story, y'all. I've been doing it for a while. And you wonder, why is he able to get those jobs? Why is he able to do the same thing over and over again? It's because nobody had spoke out. Nobody knew. Well, they knew, but nobody else knew to hold this man accountable. And now, hopefully, Miss Sonya will get the justice that she deserves. It's a very sad story. I've been following it for a minute since it happened. And I think it's disgusting. I really do. Because they've drove this out for a while. Only releasing the body cam footage on Monday. This happened in July. So that just shows you just how, and it was beginning of July too. This just shows you how crooked they is. So
I brought everybody in the building. So it's this Sonya Massey. It's a 12-year-old that unalives her cousin, and it's Terrell Davis that I wanted to talk about. Let me see how I could do this. I don't know if y'all want to take over the show. I gotta
please watch your words, okay, everybody. When we go around, everybody, please watch your words.
So you know what? In my opinion, without the stories, without me showing video footage and stuff, go around, do the different stories, and I need about 10 to 15 minutes, and I'll be right back. Does that sound okay? Y'all good?
Okay. Yeah, we got it.
Good.
Okay, thank you. I'll be back. Okay.
Yeah, so all these stories are going to be really, really, really tough to hear. Bad stories. I want y'all to book y'all seatbelts, okay? Watch your words. And, you know, pray for these families because they're going through a lot. It's sad because, you know, it's been going on for a while. We didn't get to see it. It's tough. And now we're getting to see it. And it's really sad because who wants to see that? Savannah, what you think?
Hey, in my opinion, and everyone on the panel, I think it's horrific and tragic that this is still going on. It's been how many years since? Well, it hasn't been that long since we had George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery. I know for Ahmaud Arbery, I was really invested in that story because that was I lived very close to that community when I lived in Georgia, so I'm very familiar with that area. And this is a mother, because I believe she had 2 children, and it's sad, especially with in her own home, already feeling unsafe because she felt that someone was outside on her around the premises of her home, thinking that someone was going to come and provide her a sense of relief, at least checking. Well, when you can't even call the people that are paid by our tax dollars to protect us, I think that, saying defund the police, that's not the answer. I think that's very irresponsible to say that. Getting involved in our community is definitely one of the answers, but it's not the only answer. And not trusting the police, because there are some good ones, but there are many bad ones, and they know how to get in the system and how to use their prejudices and their hate, and always feel covered and protected by the Blue Shield. So my heart breaks for this family. That video was one of the hardest videos to watch. I only could see it once, and I definitely, I'm having a hard time watching it again. I want the family to sue them for every cent that they got. Not only the families. I heard he's being charged with M, which is proper, because there is really no defense that he can present for what he did, because he didn't even offer her any type of first aid afterwards. and he should be a first responder. Anytime you take an oath and you wear that shield, you are required to be a first responder. So my heart breaks for them, and I honestly, I'm at a loss for words, because I don't think that this would change anytime soon, and especially in the political climate that we are. If anything, I see it getting more scary. And that's all I have in my comment.
In my opinion, darling.
I said Julius. Did y'all not hear me?
Oh, I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
No,
No,
man, we
we
didn't
couldn't
hear
hear
you.
you. We couldn't hear you.
Okay. Julius, is you there?
I'm here.
Okay. You got some thoughts, baby?
Um, I'm hearing bits and pieces about this story, actually on Facebook, but hearing you explain it, it's more heartbreaking than I thought. The way it was coming across, it's more to it, and it's not good all around.
Katrina?
The only thing I'm concerned about is like how much stuff he has done and got away with it without having his camera on. For him to be moved from station to station to station, you knew this man was a problem, but you didn't care because he was a police officer. And like I told y'all, once I knew this guy, he worked for Internal Affairs. He told me the police station a one-stop shop. You just got to have the brains and the nerves to pull it off. And the thing of it is, she was unalive because she said, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus." So you must got some demons and stuff up in your head or in your heart, or you don't even have a heart in order to do that. And then you lied, tried to make people think that she unalived herself. You tried to make it think that somebody else did it, that she was found that way. And like Savannah said, you didn't even offer no type of rescue or no type of um, life life and I can't get my words out. You didn't offer her any type of way to try to save her life. Put it that way. You didn't want to save her life because you know what you did was wrong, and you know she was gonna talk, and you was gonna get fired or put in jail, and you only got put in jail because of the backlash you're receiving now. Because before then, you was walking around free, and that's the sad situation, and that's the thing that they want to do. I'm not saying defund the cops, but you want these cops um the people that's up there that want to come in. You want to give the cops the stop and frisk thing, and you don't want them to have. You want them to have immunity so they can go out and do all this, and no charges will be brought against them. And that's totally sad. If that's the world that we got to live in, it doesn't make any sense. And they knew he was a problem because if he wasn't a problem, somebody should have asked, why you keep moving from precinct to precinct to precinct? What's going on? Somebody should have asked that question. He did something that he has no business doing, the reason why he got moved around so many times. And for this woman to be gone from her kids, from her family, from her father, from her mother, for some for saying, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus," man, you got some problems. That's all I got.
Okay. Thank you, Katrina. Dr. Love?
Yeah, I really agree with Julius about saying there's so much more to this story. Um, and I guess with the understanding that everything can't be put out, but the good thing is the other police officer did have his body cam on, so that's the good thing about that. He didn't turn it off. Even with that, normally coworkers take up for coworkers, and especially them type of coworkers. I feel like even with that. he was like the other police officer, whoever his partner was. I feel like he was stating that, okay, this got to stop. And what you about to do right now, I will have on tape, you know. Because from my understanding, he asked him to turn his camera off, or asked him was it on or something of, along those lines. And to me, it wasn't like, not saying that it's right for him to, turn his camera off, but I would have believed that another coworker would have, turned his camera off. But I do believe that partner have seen him, and it's where, I believe, Katrina, I agree with you too, that he has done more, and this police officer have seen it, his partner, he have witnessed it, and he's like, enough is enough. So I'm leaving all of this on. Not that I've seen the video, I don't want to see the video. My daughter told me all about it maybe 3-4 hours ago, because it's all over TikTok. Of course, it's all over our black I can't think of the other little, how could I say, social media. But
Social
however, I
media,
just truly
social
believe,
media.
yeah, I believe it's just, everywhere. But I haven't clicked on it. But just to say, he didn't told this other partner to turn his camera off, and this other partner's like, enough is enough. I've witnessed enough. And I don't understand why they would move him from place to place. We also, well, I seen an interview with the dad, who was so sad and crying, talking about the situation. And I'm to the point that these little few millions is no longer going to get it. These 3 million, 4 million, 7 million, these families need to be rewarded like 100 million or more for these different states, counties, whatever, to get the understanding. Stop allowing these people to continue to be on the force and continue to do the things that they are doing. Like, enough is enough. And I feel like that little 3, 5, 7 million is nothing. That's like one community property tax. That's just how I feel. And especially in Ohio, certain places, one community property tax can add up to that little 3 million that they paying for taking someone's life. It is so wrong. But I feel sorry for the two children. They said they're 15 and 17. I feel sorry for them too, to say you're a teenager and lost your mom. They haven't mentioned anything about the dad. I'm not sure if any of you guys on the panel or in the chat know anything about the dad, because they haven't mentioned him yet. But it's a sad situation. And for our community. Yeah.
Felicia, you're up.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. If I may, for those of us who are perhaps in a position like me, I will read the CNN article if you like, and we can get some background there.
Okay,
So,
that's good.
body camera footage showing the fatal police shooting of Sonya Massey, a 36-year-old Black woman who had called 911 for help, was released on Monday in a case that has led to charges against a deputy. The 36-minute video released via the Illinois State Police includes body camera footage from each of the two Sangamon County Sheriff deputies who responded to Macy's house after midnight on July 6. Macy had called 911 to report a possible prowler at her home in Springfield, according to a court document filed by prosecutors. In the footage, Deputy Grayson and another deputy speak calmly with Macy in her home when she goes to the stove to turn off a pot of boiling water. She then picks up the pot and the other deputy steps back. Quote, away from your hot, steaming water, close quote, he says to Massey. She responds, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. Huh? The deputy says. I rebuke you in the name of Jesus, she repeats. The deputy then says, you better effing not, or I swear to God, I'll effing shoot you in the effing face. He then draws his firearm and points it at her, and she ducks and says, quote, I'm sorry, while lifting the pot, the video shows. The deputy then yells, drop the effing pot. 3 shots are then heard. After a few seconds of silence, one deputy says, quote, shots fired, and calls for emergency medical services. Grayson then says, quote, dude, I'm not taking effing boiling water to the effing head. And look, it came right to our feet, too. Minutes after the shooting, Grayson speaks to another law enforcement figure. Quote, he says, she had boiling water and came at me with boiling water, he says in the video. She said she was going to rebuke me in the name of Jesus and came at me with boiling water. CNN has sought comment from Grayson's attorney. The release of the video comes about 2 weeks after the fatal shooting and just days after Grayson was charged in her death. Grayson was indicted by a grand jury on 3 counts of first-degree M and 1 count each of aggravated battery with a firearm and official misconduct. He has entered a not guilty plea and was denied pre-trial release, according to court records. Massie is one of a number of Black women who have been unalived by police in their homes in recent years, including Breonna Taylor and Atania Jefferson. In a news conference Monday afternoon, civil rights attorney Ben Crump, who represents Massie's family, connected her demise to other cases of police violence against Black police across the United States. Quote, until we get justice for Sonya Massey, we rebuke this discriminatory criminal justice system in the name of Jesus, he said. Video shows lead up to aftermath. Grayson did not activate his body camera until after he fatally shot Massie, according to charging documents. The other deputy had activated his body camera when he first arrived at the scene. According to footage from other deputy body cameras, the incident began with the deputies walking around Massie's yard and finding a vehicle with broken windows. They then knock on the door and speak with her, and she struggles to understand and answer some questions about the vehicle and about herself. As they speak in her living room, the deputies note the pot on the lit stove, and one says, quote, we don't need a fire while we're here. So Massie gets up and turns off the stove, and the shooting then follows. Immediately after the shooting, the video records Grayson telling his partner Massie would not need medical help. The other deputy says he's going to get a medical kit to help, but Grayson responds, nah, she's done. You can go get it, but that's a headshot, close quote. Grayson later goes to his vehicle to get his medical supplies. When he gets back to the house, he asks if there's anything he can do, but is told no. All right, quote, I'm not even going to waste my med stuff then, close quote, Grayson says. Next, Grayson leaves the house and speaks to a group of law enforcement officers outside. Quote, yeah, I'm good. This F&B is crazy, close quote, he says, according to the footage. In a news conference on Monday, along with members of her family, Crump said Massie had mental health challenges, but was not aggressive toward the deputies. She needed a helping hand, he said. She didn't need a bullet to the face. Massie's father, James Wilburn, Said he initially received conflicting information from law enforcement. Quote, I was under the impression that a prowler had broken in and took my baby. Never did they say it was a deputy involved shooting until my brother read it on the internet. We were led to believe that the intruder or someone from the neighborhood may have taken her life. We were absolutely shocked to find out that it was a deputy who did. You're used to having the talk, quote unquote, with boys. But now I guess we have to have the talk with our girls about their interactions with the police, he said. Wilvin said that his daughter's passing has left him heartbroken. He says Sonya was a daddy's girl. She never ended a conversation, whether by text or telephone or in person, without saying, Daddy, I love you. And that's the last message I have from my daughter that's saved on my voicemail was, Daddy, I love you. Crump told Laura Coates that he expected the release of the video showing the heinous unaliving of this innocent woman to galvanize the community. It's so senseless. I mean, it's disturbing. This video is reminiscent in the last presidential cycle in 2020 when George Floyd video, encouraged our community to act. And in this 2024 election, I believe Sonya Massey's video is going to encourage our community to act because Sonya deserved better than this, Crump said. Since the shooting, local and state officials have criticized the deputy's actions as an unjustified use of deadly force. A review of the Illinois State Police investigation into the shooting does not support a finding that Grayson was justified in his use of deadly force, the state's attorney for the county, John Milheiser, said in a July 17th news release. In a court document filed by the state last week, prosecutors said a, quote, use of force expert has reviewed the body camera footage and concluded the use of deadly force was not justified. The expert likened the scenario to an officer intentionally and unnecessarily putting himself in front of a moving vehicle and then justifying use of force because of fear of being struck. The sheriff's office said that it has fired Grayson. Quote, it is clear that the deputy did not act as a trained or in accordance with our standards. Effective policing comes down to good judgment in a highly stressful situation, says Josh Campbell, CNN security correspondent and former federal agent. Although being doused with scalding water could warrant the use of deadly force by an officer to stop a threat, in this video, we certainly don't see officers attempting alternative options, such as moving away and creating distance between themselves and Massey. Grayson has worked at 6 different law enforcement agencies in Illinois since 2020. He began working part-time at the Pawnee Police Department in August 2020, then moved to Kincaid and Verdon Police Departments before taking up full-time work with the Auburn Police Department, then the Logan County Sheriff Office, and in May 2023, Sangamon County. It is unclear why Grayson changed jobs so frequently, and CNN has reached out to other law enforcement agencies for more information. It was very powerful just seeing all the people come from our community. Several hundred people had attended the gathering in honor of Macy's WICS said. Different ages, different races, different sexual orientations, all coming together for one cause, which is to get justice for Sonya Massey. President Joe Biden said in a statement Monday that Massey's family deserves justice. I'm done.
Ms.
Okay,
Juanita?
thank you so much.
Okay, Felicia. I thank you for the information. I saw the video and I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. Finally, I call this divine intervention. This crook is finally caught. It was I think it was by chance that God was in the presence and that he had this guy to have a video on, and this guy probably was just sick and tired of the mess this man was pulling. He probably had been doing this for the longest, riding with his partner, and the partner just didn't say nothing. And at this point, when that lady said, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus, that was all it took. So we say that 2024 is the year of reveal, and I am so sorry and so hurt that this young lady lost her life. She was a mother and a daughter, and it did not make any sense at all. I watched how she cooperated with them. She looked like she had a little bit of mental illness, but she cooperated with them. She didn't act out of place. She didn't act crazy. She just didn't do anything except for whatever they asked them to do. They asked her for her ID. She went to looking for her ID. She said, I can't find it. She cooperated in every way. And this is just sickening. And I just hope he burns in hell for this. And I just hope justice is served. And like I said, we're just sick and tired of being sick and tired. And that's all I got to say. It's just upsetting.
It is very upsetting. Tay Tay, your thoughts?
I will want on this right here. I rebuke the name of Jesus. He go to jail and justice for her. You disgusting. You just you supposed to protect us from the evil people, but no, you just unlike this woman right here. And may have God have mercy on your soul, and you will regret when you go to jail for the rest of your life. I feel bad for your daughter who had to see this right here because you are nothing but a D word I'm talking about. And they gonna get hunted, they gonna get bullied after this right here. That's all.
Thank you, Tay Tay. Leo.
Okay, so I don't want to miss Katrina. Did Katrina speak in my opinion? Oh, Jules?
Yes,
Yeah,
baby. Yes,
Katrina
you the
speak.
last one.
Okay. So it's depressing. It is really, really hard on my spirit to keep watching this go on over and over again. I so appreciate you, Felicia, for reading the article and giving us the information. You know, this man was let go in other precincts. And I often say this, they do these transgressions and then they keep moving. And I thought about this morning when I first heard about this incident. What came to me was he kept on working. This police officer kept on working until he got to the jail cell. He would not stop until he had 6 precincts he was let go from. And he would not stop until he got to the jail cell. And it's so unfortunate for this family. And I pray for their healing. I pray for justice for this woman. I pray that wake up. If you're going to hire these people, you need to vet them clearly. Clearly, this man had a problem. Even his own partner would not back him up. And because it's always the blue line. They always talk about the blue line. So he would not even back him up on the blue line. He turned his camera on and said, hey, this fool, I ain't going down for him. I'm going to make sure whatever he do, it's not going to affect me. We're going to see who this police officer really is. It's just it's so disgusting and so disheartening. And and she was of no threat to this man. A pot of boiling water that you told her to get up and turn off? Oh my God. And I do agree with you, in my opinion. When the demon was rebuked, the demon stood up in full force. I truly believe in the spirit world. And when the demon was rebuked, the demon stood up and said, you won't defeat me. But I tell you what, on these M charges, the demon gonna have to stand again, because on these M charges, this officer, I am so glad that he's gonna have to stand in accountability for these charges. And I hope the family, even though they let him go, I hope the family still is suing the department, because they need to be, because they hired this fool. That's all I got, opinion. Thank you so much.
And can I say one more
Okay,
thing,
good.
opinion?
Sure. Yeah.
This is we're in a spiritual warfare. And even though this young lady had mental illness issues, she could see through this man and see that he was a demon. And when she said, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus, I believe in Jesus. I declare I do. I believe in divine intervention. I believe that the Lord walked right in and touched that other officer, and everything was revealed that hadn't been. It's just heart sad. It's just sad that we have to lose so many of our own people because of the color of our skin. Hatred is real. It's sad. It's just a sad country that we're living in right now. But hopefully and prayerfully, my prayer is that God will change all of it. In Second Chronicles 7:14, it said, if my people who are called by my name will seek my face and pray and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven and heal their land. So we've got some work to do, y'all. That's all I got to say.
Amen to that, Miss Juanita. It
Amen.
is
Right. That's so true.
it's a sad story, y'all. But we gotta also hold these people accountable, because they hiring these people under the guise that they're gonna protect and serve us, and instead they come and unalive us. And so yeah, we need to fight for mental health evaluations for all these officers as well, because some of these people have mental health issues they dealing with too.
Heck, they
We're
become
gonna move on
police
to the next
officers
story.
just so they can do that. Half of them do. They become a police officer just so they can do those things that they do. They just traded the sheets for a badge. That's all they did.
Okay, so we're gonna move on to the next story, and it's the Tennessee girl who's 12 years old accused of smothering her 8-year-old cousin after arguing over iPhone. It said a 12-year-old girl in Tennessee had been charged with M charges, accused of smothering her 8-year-old cousin as a younger girl slept. A relative said they had been arguing over iPhone. A security camera recording the killing inside the bedroom they shared on July the 15th in Tennessee, the prosecutor said. The recording showed the older child using bedding to suffocate her cousin as the younger girl slept in the top bunk. Gibson District Attorney Frederick A.G. A statement said, after the child died, the juvenile cleaned up the victim and repositioned her body. The victim mother, Raya Smith, told CBS affiliates in Memphis the girl had argued over the iPhone after coming from out of town to stay with their grandmother. She identified her daughter as the 8-year-old Demiria Hollingsworth. The 12-year-old girl was charged with first-degree M charges and tampering with evidence after authorities obtained the video on Wednesday. I consider this to be one of the most disturbing violence acts committed, either as an adult or as a juvenile. My office has prosecuted, he wrote in a statement. He said he would petition the judge to prosecute the girl, who turns 13 later this month, as an adult in court, which would allow for a lengthier sentence, whether that would be thoroughly incarcerated or supervised with court order conditions. Smith told CBS that she is hoping that the maximum sentence. Last time I seen my baby, she was smiling, giving me kisses, telling me she would see me when she was home. She never came back home. She never came back home. Smith told the station. A GoFundMe organized by Smith has raised over $14,000 as of Monday morning. I never imagined anything like this happening, and now I find myself trying to fund a funeral, the GoFundMe says. This was really sad, and it broke my heart because these are family members and kids. And how did she know? How did this baby know that she had to reposition this baby body and clean up the mess? She knew way too much. It's sad and it's heartbreaking. Savannah, what are your thoughts?
This is a extremely troubling story. My goodness. If I understood it correctly when I heard it this morning, um, the act was recorded by a security camera that they had in their room, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So they have the act recorded, so there's evidence, and this 12-year-old charging her as an adult, um, and putting her in any type of adult situation. It just seems there was no one there to protect either child, and for her to have that type of rage over a iPhone device to the point where she was going to um, attack her cousin, her family member. Uh, there just seems to be more to the story that I'm missing, because I'm at a loss for two blood relatives. I remember fighting with my cousin, but not to the point where I don't want, wish that type of harm on anyone. Um, and it's just difficult. Like, where was the adults who found the baby the next morning, the 8-year-old? And for them to try her, because I believe the prosecutor is coming out at her with some severe adult charges, and she's still a child herself. Another story that I'm just going to be praying for the family. Um, I hope we have a really good feel good story at the end of this show. That's all I got in my opinion.
Julius?
I'm speechless. I am speechless. The enemy is truly busy. Truly busy. Over an iPhone. As Savannah was speaking, I try, like, this story makes me think of, it's been in the news forever. The John Benet Ramsey story. The anger, the rage. I don't know what what, and the ages are basically similar, and rage, all that rage, all that rage. The enemy knows what he's doing. Like, for what? Now all factions of this family in this story is ruined. Ruined. Yeah, I'm speechless, and I'm with Savannah. Diva, please make sure it's a real feel good story at the end of this, please.
Okay, thank you, Julius. Katrina, your thoughts?
My thoughts are, I was told this a long time ago, that the computer is going to be the death of this world. These kids these days, they get these phones and tablets. You can give it to a 4-year-old or 5-year-old. They can work that tablet or that phone better than an adult. You take it from them, they want to scream and shout because their brain is addicted to these phones. Now, I don't know if this little 8-year-old seen the 12-year-old talking to a man or something, and she saw it on there. I'm just speculating. I'm not saying this will happen. Because what would make you, your cousin, that y'all supposed to be close, you're supposed to be close. What would make you wanna off your cousin by her having your phone? What was so important on your phone that you didn't want nobody to know or that you want nobody to see? Because it's just weird that you offing somebody over a phone. But like I say, they get addicted to these phones. When you go places, you go eat whatsoever, everybody's on their phone. It's phones. In schools, it's phones. On the bus, they walking. They can't even see where they walking because they looking down on their phones. And it's sad. And for her to know that she did something wrong, you know you did something wrong because why are you cleaning up after fact? You knew exactly what you was doing. You 12, but you was acting like an adult. And that's a sad situation because you knew exactly what to do to try to cover up what you did. And I'm not saying that, by her being a child that she should be given that type of punishment. But the type of punishment that you did to this child, she's not around, and maybe you need some help or whatsoever. Well, you definitely need some help. But I'm just saying, for you to have that type of rage inside of your body over a iPhone, like, what is she finna expose? What you think that she was gonna expose on you? Because you was mighty hype over this phone, and for you to go back and change the body around, wipe off the her face. I guess she was foaming or whatever. You wiping her face and stuff down, and you laid the cover on her just like she was still asleep, so the grandmama would think that she's asleep or whatsoever. You was thinking like an adult, even though you was a child. So I pray for both families because both families is torn up. That mom and her mom, they're gonna be torn up. And I'm quite sure they are torn up. And I'm quite sure the grandmama probably has some guilt because she feels like I got a camera in the room and I still even catch this. It's a sad situation all the way around. And all I can say, people, is pray because the enemy is out there. They take the prayers out of the schools. They taking prayers, discipline out of the schools. but you want a child to pledge to a flag. Make that make sense. They can't pray to Jesus, but they can pledge to a flag. Either or, I just pray the family heart is lightened and they get some type of relief because losing a child is not an easy thing. And that's all I got.
Appreciate you, Katrina. I appreciate all of y'all. Where we at? We on story number 2?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. I appreciate
Yeah,
y'all.
we're
So
on the
my
12-year-old girl.
all right. I thank you, Lee. Thank you in my opinion. Thank you, everybody. So my son was going out to get food, right, with his friend. And his car just stopped in the middle of the road, like at a major like intersection going from our house. We have AAA. 25 years I've been a member of AAA, and these people telling us 90 minutes before they come. I told them that was unacceptable. We had to call a tow truck outside of AAA because he couldn't sit there and we couldn't move the car. And you know what? Shout out to the Sayreville police because they came and they helped us. They did. They came and they helped us. I sat behind my son with my hazards on, and they came and they sat behind me. Then he called the tow truck and they got us here. So praise God, we're here. I appreciate y'all. Do me a favor, in my opinion. Continue with this story on who's next, and I'll be right back with y'all.
Okay, Dr. Love, you up.
Okay. So with these two being cousins, I did the story say if the mothers are sisters, or do anybody know that much? Like if the mothers are sisters?
The story didn't say. They was just going to visit their grandmother. And the
Oh,
8-year-old had an iPhone, the 12-year-old wanted it. They got
hmm,
into an argument over it, and she suffocated the 8-year-old and then cleaned up and repositioned the little girl body.
whoa. So, if they was at the grandma house, I can say for sure I know the grandmother's devastated. If these two cousins, mothers, because I think the mothers or fathers, whoever are sisters and brothers, yes, the family, of course, we know will be torn up. Um, and I this is just a real sad situation because the one thing I don't want to see this young girl that's 12 years old or going on 13 whatever to be charged as an adult and put in adult situations because we know her mind is not nearly developed to be put in adult situations, and at that point is it really rehabilitating her? And that is what the system is here to do or put into place to say whatever her situation is, or that she went through mentally or addiction for this phone or wanting a phone that this bad, that she is rehabilitated. And then to say, um, do you put some of this on the parents? Yes, I do. And I do because for the simple fact that with these phones, there's new parenting that has to happen. Or with, how could I say, these devices being so part of these kids' life, unlike before as parents, you know, who have kids maybe in their 30s and 20s, or I want to say 25 and above. Only thing we really had to worry about was games. And monitoring them being on the games, how many hours, who they're on a game with, and things like that. But now it is so many devices that has to be monitored, so much parenting that has to go on. And that's the one thing I feel like parents need to know, that there is a lot of parenting that has to go on with these devices. So I don't want her charged as no adult. And then I do feel really bad for the mother who lost a daughter at such a young age, because daughters, not saying that sons aren't precious, but daughters are so precious, to have a daughter. And yeah, I'm just going to pray for both of these families, or both of the parents, the grandmother, the family itself, because how do you come back from this, because that's somebody's favorite niece, that's somebody's sister most likely on both sides. So it's just about this family being able to come back, or how do you come back from this? um how long forgiveness may take within this family. So yeah, I just feel really bad for both.
Thank you, Dr. Love. I want to interject here, and I'm going to show this really quick news clip. And I will say this. Anybody that has cousins out there that they kind of grew up with and around, if you had siblings, y'all played around, y'all might have, got into little scuffles here and there, but something has to be deep seated in you to the point where you might have been fighting over an iPhone, but you decide when your cousin is asleep that you're going to smother her. Then you clean her up and reposition her. There's something's not right about this, right? So there's more to this, and something's not right. Let's just hear this news story.
Happening in Humboldt, Tennessee, where a 12-year-old girl is accused of suffocating her 8-year-old cousin with bedding. Good evening, and thanks for joining us. I'm Greg Hurst.
I'm Stephanie Skurlock. The district attorney for Gibson County, Frederick Agee, confirms this heartbreaking news, which happened Monday. It happened in Humboldt, about 2 hours northeast of Memphis. Investigators say they received surveillance video from a home security camera capturing the killing. The video shows the 12-year-old girl using the bedding to suffocate her 8-year-old cousin while she was asleep on the top bunk of the beds they shared. Afterwards, we're told the girl cleaned up the victim and repositioned her body.
Humboldt police have filed a petition of delinquency charging the tween with first-degree murder and tampering with evidence. District Attorney Agee's office is petitioning juvenile judge Mark Johnson to transfer the delinquent child to circuit court to be tried as an adult. Neither girl lived in Humboldt. They were just visiting family members. We will continue to follow that story. And tonight,
Devastating. The 12-year-old girl charged with murder, accused of suffocating her 8-year-old cousin in bed. Memphis, Tennessee, a 12-year-old girl in Humboldt, Tennessee, is being charged with first-degree murder after prosecutors say video shows her suffocating her 8-year-old cousin in a bunk bed they shared. The girl will turn 13 next week, allegedly using bedding to suffocate her cousin, then cleaned up the victim and repositioned her body, says investigators who revealed home security video of the incident. The victim's mother, Rayana Smith, identified as Demetra Hollingsworth. She remembered Demetra was always smiling, doing well in school, and hugging her little sister. She liked to read books, go swimming, play outside, ride her bike every day, play with the kids in the neighborhood, play with my friends. My baby was sweet, Smith said. That's the young lady, little girl that lost her life by the hands of her cousin. Smith said the girls were staying with their grandmother for the summer. Now, let me tell you this. I always, with my sisters, would go down to my grandmother's in South Carolina for the summer, and my cousins would be there too. So where my grandmother lived, all of us, our cousins, we would go down and stay with our grandparents for the summer, and then right before it was time to go back to school, we will all go home. So this, in my day, is a usual scenario where you go, you're staying with grandma, and your parents for free for the summer. But I don't know if Felicia spoke on this story yet. If not, we'll get around to her. But, Felicia is very versed in the education of your children, how your children should be in activities and be in summer programs. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that it's not okay for you to go spend time with your grandmother, but this is one of those examples of maybe your kid needs to be in somebody's summer camp or something like that, especially when you're mixing the cousins of 8 and 12 and 13 and all of that, and some craziness goes on. I don't know. This is just super sad to me. I couldn't even believe it. I bypassed this story for a few days because I couldn't wrap my mind around a 12-year-old, unaliving her own cousin. If it was a mistake, you pushed her, she hit her head. But this girl, she knew what she did because she cleaned her up and repositioned her to make it look like she was asleep. She says the issue stemmed over an argument over an iPhone. An argument over an iPhone. But the girl was laying in the bed sleep. The argument is over. When they told me about that, I should have just gone to get my kids, she said. They were having fun for the summer, and I didn't think she would unalive my baby. It's difficult for Smith to wrap her head around what happened to her daughter. She did nothing to deserve her life to be taken, Smith said. She was only 8 years old. She just turned 8 in April. Frederick Agee, District Attorney General for the 28th District in West Tennessee, said his office is petitioning juvenile judge Mark Johnson to transfer the child to circuit court to be tried as an adult. I consider this to be one of the most, listen to what he said. I consider this to be one of the most disturbing, violent acts committed by either an adult or a juvenile that my office has prosecuted. Agee said in a statement posted to the office social media page, the 13-year-old is charged with first-degree murder and tampering with evidence. Smith is hoping for the maximum sentence. Last time I seen my baby, she was smiling, giving me kisses, telling me she will see me when it's time for her to come back home. She's never coming back home. She's never coming back home is what her mother said. Now, listen, again, over here we can everybody can have their opinion. I don't mind. We can all agree to disagree at times, but I have got to say this. There are some times where everything has to be a case by case scenario. Felicia, I'm gonna let you talk.
Is it my turn? Is it my turn?
Dr. Love just finished speaking, right? Am I correct?
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. There's a lot here. This is very complex, and I definitely appreciate language. So based on the quotes from the mother, we didn't hear from the grandmother, we didn't hear from the child's mother who was charged. So collectively, we know this is a sorrowful situation. It's unfortunate. And I've said this before, July is a very emotional month, and I'm going to be a little emotional here tonight. But you got to vet everybody. Everybody.
Mm-hmm.
There are predators everywhere.
Ooh.
Now, if Diva were my sister, and Diva say, well, bring the kids down here, we're going to do so-and-so. We're going to have a good summer together. And I say, it sounds good. And I get down there and I see that there are cameras in the bedroom. I'm going to stop and pause.
Okay.
That's what I'm going to do. Now, maybe some of you wouldn't. Maybe you got mini camera here and there. I don't. Okay? I don't. But we got a camera. Maybe I go ask my mother or my mother-in-law, whoever this is, well, why is the camera there? And since it's there, can I be connected? Because there is already an established security system here, and I may not know exactly why. 2, my 8-year-old calls me on the phone and says maybe they're a little unhappy, maybe they're getting a little bullied by the older cousins. And I know my mother or my mother-in-law. Let's not pretend we don't know who people are or what we may have experienced as the cousin of the other one's mother. I noted in the chat, a lot of folks were saying these was cousins. Because someone is your blood don't mean they love you.
Oh my God.
That don't mean they like you. Don't mean their mama, their daddy like you.
Mm.
I'm speaking from a place of experience.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When it came to mine, I keep telling y'all, I protected them every which way I could. I never assumed or gave grace to anybody when it came to my children.
Right now.
If you felt a certain way about me, you felt a certain way about my own mother, and here come my kids. I didn't think you was feeling different.
Oh my.
No, I didn't. Because some things are generational as well in terms of negative relationships. Cousin, aunt, mama, daddy, grandmama doesn't give you a pass. Everyone needs to be vetted.
Oh my gosh.
Now, maybe they sent too many kids down there and the grandmother was overwhelmed. How about that? But, and here come the part that some people gonna come for me, and it's okay. I will do free staying with the family versus maybe the summer camp that I did vet that got good reviews. Is it closer to the house? My daughter, the one that I love dearly, that wasn't happy.
Oh my gosh.
Let's be clear. She's called the mother.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not happy. Things not going good. You thinking economics. If you don't know someone like me, know somebody like me that can tell you how to get your kids into summer enrichment programs that are a little bit on the heavy side, but there are plenty of financial dollars if you apply early. I don't know what this 12-year-old was taught. I don't know what she saw at home. I don't know what movies they took her to. But I know that this prosecutor, I agree with Dr. No, this is too much. This child needs some kind of mental intervention.
Come on.
Now, as I was listening, I did a little research. They said the psychological impacts of smartphone addiction include fear of missing out, anxiety, disrupted sleep patterns, depression, and behavioral and compulsive disorders. This is according to the Cogent Psychology users' fear of missing out can cause exacerbate anxiety. One of the other things they talk about is why are smartphones so addictive? When we check our phones, our brains release a small amount of dopamine. Dopamine motivates us to take action, and each time we hear a notification, we check our device. The problem is this dopamine boost is temporary and leads to letdown and depression. So my interpretation is it's like heroin. It's like whatever else. She needed it. This is what she do. Her life is her iPhone. I can imagine the crisis she's going through right now. And they want to put her away forever. We didn't hear a quote from her mother. We heard it from the mother who says, my child was a straight A student. She was liked, she was loved, she was this, she was that. She called you. Where were you, Mom? And I'm not even going to call out the father because I'm tired of these come on now.
Oh my God.
I can't. When your children call you.
Come on now. Come on, talk.
You are to respond accordingly.
Yes.
If it's a 6-hour drive, if it's a 10-hour drive, if it's a 2-day flight, And if you're blessed to have sisters like mine that will ride with you, say, sis, I know it's 2 a.m, but we got to go.
I'll be right there.
That's right. If you got a best friend that rides with you, that don't say, well, what happened? It's 2:30 in the morning. I got $3 in my wallet. No, my baby called me. This is the 3rd call. I got to go get him.
Got to go. And let's add this, Felicia. I don't care how old they are. Mine will be 19 on the 26th.
And 20 minutes ago, you dropped us and you went to go see how he is, because he is valued. He is the priority. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Come on now.
So I'm sorry all the way around for this family, for this extended family, because nobody going to grandmama's house no more.
That's
it. Nobody else going. And if I were the grandmother, I probably would have said, this is too much. I can't have these kids in here all the time. And we know the story. Who's sending money for food? Who cousin got better clothes or newer shoes? It's too many complexities here. Find alternatives, please. When you walk in and things don't look right, there's a security camera in this bedroom.
Oh my God.
Maybe this isn't a good place for so-and-so to stay. I'll give it 24 hours. When that call comes, you come and get your baby and you bring him home and you have something a little closer by. You vet the place, you vet the people, and always ask your kids when they come home, how did your day go? And you listen.
You listen.
You listen.
Oh my gosh.
I'm so sorry. Thank you.
Thank you. Because you know what? You had something trigger in my head. A lot of kids probably was there because she said they shared the bunk bed. I was not getting that they shared. One was on the top, one was on the bottom. I felt like they were sharing that top. I don't know. This whole thing is messing with me. But see, also too, I will say
they both shared the top bunk.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought, in my opinion. And so that means there was too many kids up in there. Now, let me say this. When all of us went to my grandparents' house, we went to my grandparents' house with an S on the end. My grandmother was there. My grandfather was there. So it wasn't all on my grandmother's back. And they had a farm, and we had to go to the watermelons and get the watermelons. And we had to go. I don't know if anybody know about this. The Piggly Wiggly down in South Carolina. Listen, it was different.
I'm from the Carolinas. I know all about the Piggly Wiggly, Diva.
Okay, come on now.
I know about the Piggly Wigglies.
I'm come back from the days when, do you remember they used to have those little stamps you get? And you save up them stamps and you can go get you some type of dog.
Oh, yeah, the green stamps.
Yeah,
come on now.
Top value and S&H.
Yes.
Come on now.
Stamps. Yeah, my grandma used to have a whole box of them things. We had to put down in that little column. Yes, man. We didn't play that. My grandfather.
You would get prizes with them. You get
my
and you buy appliances.
My grandparents had 15 kids.
Yeah.
My grandma and grandma had 15 kids.
I'm gonna come to you.
It's
Give me a minute, because I'm gonna come to you. But this is a lot. So now you sending all of these kids down there with probably just grandma. Juanita, you're up. Did I come? Did you go already? Because I gotta figure out.
No, I didn't.
Go ahead.
I did. I agree with you. When you get a certain age, you can't do things like what you used to do. Grandmama, maybe when she was in her younger days and they was younger, she probably could have. But you got grandma keeping 4 or 5 kids and she by herself, and the kids are bad or whatever. You don't know what's going on. Now, when your child called you and told you what was going on, you should have got your butt up out of that bed or wherever it is that you were and got on that road and went to see what was going on. Or at least call the grandmother and tell her that you're on your way, that she need to find out, that she need to go check and see what's going on. Now, I don't agree with sending this child to an adult facility because she's still a child. And apparently there are some mental issues within that, and she probably has seen some things, heard some things. In order for her to react the way that she did, something's not right. And apparently, maybe the grandmother has kept this child before, and other grandchildren may have complained. So that may be why the cameras were in the room.
Oh my gosh.
But as Felicia said, that's a red flag there. My first question was, why you got cameras in the bedroom? That's the least place you're supposed to have cameras. So it's just something, just it's not right. I'm just appalled. I'm just, whew, that's all, Diva.
I appreciate you. It's a lot. It's a lot. Julius, you're up.
I already spoke on the story.
Julia spoke already.
Okay, are we up to Katrina?
It's Tay Tay and
Yeah.
Leo.
Yeah, it's Katrina.
Boo, I did it already.
Good. Okay,
Oh.
Tay, you're up. Mm-hmm.
I would never, ever do that to my cousin over a freaking iPhone for that right there. When I was a kid, I was share my cousin with stuff. I never argued with them like that. Never. You supposed to sharing and caring as a kid way back in those days. By now, like Felicia said, and we all parents need to get off the phone too. Let's pay attention around. And we all addicted to the phones and computer. Because what we see on this stuff, that's why everything went down the hill. We just glued to it like it's glued to our face with the phones. I just feel bad for this 8 years old kid who never go high school, middle school, because of her 12 years old cousin who did this to her. Something's wrong with that 12 years old kid, because you know how in the family of the cousin they get jealous of you and who's the favorite too. That's why it's what's going on right there. That's all, Diva.
I appreciate you. Leo, you're up.
I concur with Tay. My sorrow, I feel so deep in sorrow for this family, because just be clear, this family is destroyed. I don't know what the link is, who is the sister brother compact with the cousins, or how this is played out. This family is destroyed. And I pray for them. I pray for them to recover from this. As Felicia and as Savannah has said, I do not agree with any corporal adult punishment for this child. I don't agree with that. But I'm going to say something that's going to probably throw the train off. But the spirit also comes through these devices. These kids, right? So back in the days, this is what we used to do back in the days. Back in the days, if you cut up, you get caught out there. We used to love to go outside, right? We used to love to go outside. And me personally, as a 51-year-old woman, if my parents in punishment said, well, you can't go outside for 2 weeks, I would almost die. Like, y'all will have to call the coroner. But nowadays, they take away the devices, and the kids will I never thought about unaliving a parent or anybody over that. They will unalive the teacher. Whoever said they taking away these devices, they will come for your neck. We've seen it with the teachers. If you take away these devices, these kids will cook out. And I feel like the spirit, the demon spirit is busy. It is really busy. And these kids are addicted to these devices. I do not feel like the 12-year-old, they understood enough to clean it up, but they did not understand that you 12 years old today, in 10 years you'll be 22, and then in 20 years you'll be 32, and you still gonna have to live with this. You cleaned it up to get away with it, but you really won't get away with it. People don't feel connection with their family. And I also grew up with a very, very rough family. We used to call it the proving ground when you went to my father's family residences, and they would bully you and try to, it was the whole thing. I went through that too. It wasn't comfortable, but it taught me a lot, but it wasn't on the same level as it is now. And I agree with Felicia. When I went through it, I never called anybody and say, look, they over here acting crazy. They trying to beat me up. I'm going through the hazing. I never said any of those things. I just muscled through it. This young baby called her mother and said something ain't right here. And the mother did not respond. She took it in how she seen things in her level, that you with family and it ain't nothing really catastrophic is gonna happen if you're there. And we see now times have changed. Times have changed. Things are not the way that they used to be. This baby was gorgeous and bright and loving. You could see it in the pictures. And I feel so bad for the whole family, not just her mother, not just the grandmother, but this is going to be a problem between the siblings. This is going to be a very, very, very devastating problem on this family. And keep your kids close, because I tell you what, you never know what the spiritual warfare that's out here. You never know who they coming for. And it could be your baby and the spiritual warfare on this baby that's 12 years old.
I'm a end this story with this and say this. Somebody said, I appreciate you because you are correct. Take a lot of force to suffocate somebody. And for the prosecutor to say what they said, it speaks volumes, because they actually saw the video. We did not. And I don't want to see it because I ain't going to be able to sleep at night. But it's not like she just put a pillow or whatever on her head and it was just a done deal just like that. But the more sickening part to me is, after it happened, you didn't get scared. You cleaned up a body that was unalived and repositioned it and put the covers over like it was sleep. That's high level sinister. That's high level sinister. And yes, you are right, Leo. A lot of these kids, they do kook out and get crazy over these cell phones. This right here is next level stuff. But I'm connecting to this prosecutor who said pretty much they never seen nothing like it. And I'm connecting. I didn't catch it. That's why I like having these conversations with y'all. I did not catch it. But Felicia, you are correct. That first of all, have a camera up in the room. She
can't manage the kids though, Diva. She can't manage the kids.
She should have never agreed to take them, and they probably should have never sent them. And I'm not trying to parent shame anybody. Ronald, thank you so much. You said she used bed sheets. That means it took even longer. Bed sheets are thin.
If she was gonna make sure her cousin was unalive. Lord have mercy. I'm on mute. Go ahead.
Yeah.
if I may interject here, there are many people who use Airbnbs, and there's so many lawsuits about the cameras in the Airbnb. But you go to the grandmama house, you see a camera, and you like, we good. No, you're not. Pause, folks. Pause. Think. We're supposed to be in a safe place.
It's Nana's house. It's Nana's house.
Okay. See, my grandmother would have been angry with me, but we would have left. I probably would have got pushback from some of the other relatives. How you gonna come up there? What make your baby so special? How come they can't stay? Everybody else could. You know why? Because I wouldn't want to have been this mother 2 weeks later, and I got no child to bring home.
See, a long time ago, see, with my grandmother, you was learning how to cook that summer and clean, and that's what my grandmother was teaching the girls, and then the boys was learning something else from grandpa.
You're right.
I know how to back, you know. But listen, I'm 54, y'all. But they used to have the fresh peas. You had to snap the peas. One day I'm gonna show y'all this picture I got in my dining room. I really bought this piece of art because it reminded me of my grandmother. Matter of fact, tonight I'm gonna take a picture and I'll put it on my community page so y'all can see it. The woman is snapping peas.
Snapping those peas.
We snap the peas too. We snap the peas and clean the
Good,
chitlin.
had to pick them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, Diva, I was like you. I had an auntie. My mama's two sisters lived in South Carolina and Columbia. And we went one summer. It was 5 of us. One auntie kept the girls, and my brothers were younger. The other auntie kept the boys. My sister and I, we were older, so we stayed with the older sister. And we would get up in the morning. There wasn't no sleeping late because her husband worked. She was a housewife. She would cook breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah.
We had to be in that kitchen. He had a garden. Sometimes we had to go out there in that garden and help. But my mama worked, my daddy worked, and my mama worked. My mama made sure she worked 2 jobs so that she would be able to send money to my aunties to help with us because she appreciated that much them wanting us to come. Mama didn't ask them. They asked her if they can have us for the summer. And it's just this day and time.
Different.
It's just too much.
It's way too much. I'm talking about biscuits from scratch. I'm talking about fresh eggs from the farm. It's just different.
Girl, chickens running around in the backyard.
And they snapped the neck. Good God, don't bring me back to that. I was traumatized.
And bore the feathers off.
Yeah, listen, it's just sad. It's a lot going on. I want to backtrack, and I appreciate y'all, but I had to go handle my business, holding things down for me. And I know y'all went over this story already, but I do want to show a couple of videos from that first Sonya Massey story, because that's where you started. Am I correct? I do have some videos I want to show because very sad, very important. And the family said they initially tried to cover this thing up and act like it was something that it was not. Let me just go. I got a couple videos I really need to show y'all with this. Hold on one second, guys. Wow, my screen is taking so long. There we go.
Story at 4. The family of Sonya Massey is demanding justice 1 day after video showing her being shot by police went public.
The sheriff's deputy who killed Massey is now charged with murder. Tara Molina joins us now. Tara, we heard from Massey's mother and son today.
That's right, Jim and Marie. And the point we heard from Sonya Massey's family again and again today, she was not only shot and killed by law enforcement, but they claim law enforcement then tried to cover it up. And they say if it weren't for the video, no one would know the truth. We want to warn you, it's video that's hard to watch.
Oh, Hershey, you called us.
Body camera video of the deadly police shooting earlier this month.
Sonya Massey called 911 to report a prowler outside of her home, and Sheriff's Deputy Sean Grayson and his partner showed up. You see them outside and then inside her house. Deputy Grayson eventually instructing Massie to check on the stove. He says they don't need a fire while there. That's when things take a turn. Massie turns off the stove and picks up the pot. That's when Deputy Grayson raises his gun. Massie is seen apologizing and ducking for cover. That's when he shoots her. 3 shots are heard. Massie's family speaking out in a press conference today with their attorney, Ben Crump, after meeting with Governor J.B. Pritzker this morning, where they called for legislation to improve policing. Massie's 17-year-old son and mother sitting down with CBS News this afternoon. They say police weren't transparent about what happened.
They said it's under investigation. And then they said that they told the doctor, the hospital, that she committed suicide first. And then they changed it. They
didn't even call me and tell me. They didn't. Yeah, they just kept, because they told her that, but they called me. The hospital told me that someone just shot her. So they just telling everybody different stories. We're gonna get justice for sure. I know. We are for sure.
The sheriff's deputy involved, Sean Grayson, has worked for 6 different law enforcement agencies since 2020. His attorney is declining comment. Coming up at 6, we'll have more on this from police use of force expert David Harris, including a breakdown of the body camera video we first showed you yesterday.
Thanks, Terrell.
So they told several different stories. Extremely sad. I do want to play a video of her father speaking. That was the mother. That was her son. This is the dad.
The very tragic story of a woman killed by a sheriff's deputy after she called 911 asking for help. Now, the body cam footage, we showed it to you earlier, shows the encounter between 36-year-old Sonya Massey and Deputy Sean Grayson in Springfield, Illinois. The mother of 2 had called 911 to report a suspected prowler outside her home earlier this month. Grayson has pleaded not guilty to first-degree murder. Joining us now is Sonya's father. His name is James Wilburn, along with civil rights attorney Benjamin Crump, who is representing the family. Good morning to you both. I want to start with you, Mr. Wilburn, because this video that we saw earlier was heartbreaking to those of us who didn't even know Sonya. I cannot imagine what it is like for you to have known your daughter the way that you did. And I know when these stories happen, it's just another story in the news. But for you, I always say the victim was somebody's everything. So before we get into the details of the case, please tell us what she was like and what you're missing most about her. Who was she?
She was one of my 4 daughters. I don't think that looking at that tape with my old heart from before 2022, I had quadruple heart bypass surgery and I suffer from congestive heart failure, but I don't think my old heart could have taken this.
You know, I'm hearing that you were told conflicting stories. What were you told, the circumstances of this shooting?
Well, I was never told that it was a deputy-involved shooting. We were under the impression that she was killed by the intruder or some other person from the street or something, and they just went in there and found her dead body. I did not find out that the deputies killed her until my brother asked for Sonya's address, and I gave it to him. And he said, "Brother, this says deputies involved." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" But we were all misled to believe that. And then there was a story that this was self-inflicted, a self-inflicted gunshot.
Oh my goodness.
So I think the cover-up started from just right after it happened. Thank God for the body camera footage. It's probably the most horrible and heart-wrenching thing that we've ever seen in our lives. But if it were not for the body cam footage, we would not have known that this occurred.
Yes, I say thank goodness too for that body cam footage, because we in the video it clearly shows she was not approaching him with steaming hot water, number one, which is what he said at the beginning. When he was asked about the gun, clearly there was no gun. She had said to the officer, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus," which seemed to set him off. What do you think she meant? What does that mean? What was going on that you think that she would say those words to him?
I think that she feared for her life. There was some premonition that she had. And it seems like he was just an emissary of Satan. And that's what caused him to do what he did. It's just unexplainable.
Yeah.
Attorney Crump, it's Vlad here. I want to ask you about the reports that Officer Grayson was now working at his 6th police department in just under 4 years. What have you learned about that? And to the point that Mr. Wilburn is making and that Gail was just talking about, what does it say to you that the first thing that we hear Officer Grayson say after he has killed Sonya is, "She was coming at me with boiling water"?
You know, it's just no justification, no matter what he tries to say. We see this video with our own eyes. And Vlad, this is one of the worst videos of a police shooting ever. I mean, he did not have to shoot her. And you see him, even though he's trying to say he wasn't going to have this boiling water get to him, he actually walks around the counter and engages to get a better shot. And that's what the state attorney's investigation found, that he actually engaged her. He could have done so many things to not shoot her in the face. He could have backed up. He could have used taser. I mean, it was the size difference. Vlad and Gail, he's over two times as big as her. She's 5'1", 110 pounds. He's like 6'5", 260 pounds. It's just senseless and god-awful.
Mr. Crump, it's Tony DeCopel. We've talked to you on numerous occasions in cases like this. There have been others as well. And yet you're right, this is a particularly shocking video. What do you think the larger issue is? Why do we keep having these conversations? Why do we keep seeing these videos?
We certainly think it's the implicit bias that permeates in American society now. And when we think about what's going on with the presidential politics in 2020, it was the George Floyd torture video that galvanized people in our community to act. In 2024, I believe it's going to be the Sonya Massey shooting video that galvanizes people in our community to act, because, as Mr. James said, this so-called police officer should have never been on the sheriff's force. He had 2 DUIs, and he had went from multiple police departments, like Vlad said. And that is a question. Why was he even on the force? We agree with the judge at the bond hearing. He is a threat to public safety.
Ben, there are so many questions here. Looking at this video, I'm telling you, this one hit different for a lot of people. None of them are good, but this one in particular hit different because she clearly, from what we could see, hadn't done anything to harm this officer or threaten this officer. Mr. Wilburn, I know that your daughter was 36 years old, had 2 children. How old are your grandchildren, and how are they processing this?
My oldest is Malachi, he's 17, and Summer, Jeanette, she's 15. And we're taking it day to day. They're having a very hard time. Yeah. They're doing as best they can.
That was their mama. I mean, she needed a helping hand. She didn't need a bullet to the face, Gail.
Yeah, it is astounding to know that she had called for help and then she ends up the victim in her own home. I still don't understand it. This will never make sense to me.
No humanity. When the partner tries to help, he says, no, it's a headshot. You don't need that. And with the blood gushing out of her face. He goes out and tells the other officers on the scene, he calls her a derogatory name for a woman and says she was crazy. I mean, where is the humanity?
Yeah, that is always a question in many of these shootings. Mr. Wilburn, we are so sorry that you were talking to us today about this particular story, but we do appreciate you taking the time to do so. People need to hear this story. Ben Crump, thank you.
Longtime Democratic Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee.
I just wanted to show that footage. I know you already spoke about this story. It's like I'm speechless. This man should have never, ever been on a force. Savannah, you want to say something?
Yes, ma'am. I wanted to bring up that it wasn't until December 2023 that the Department of Justice implemented a national law enforcement accountability database. It's called NLEAD, where it's a repository of official records documenting instances of misconduct as well as accommodations and infractions for federal law enforcement officers. So this wasn't implemented nationwide until 8 months ago. This has not, this database has not implemented and into state and local level law enforcement as of yet. The department is still working on bringing this to state and local level. So it is possible that this agents, the new police force where he was hired at, did not know, maybe of not all 6, but maybe 1 or 2, because I believe this was his 6th agency.
You're breaking up a little bit there.
I'm sorry. I said the database doesn't seem to be implemented in his state as of yet. So there could be a possibility that they did not know of his prior instances of misconduct. And it's unfortunate that it's taken us this long with how many years of stories like this, Sandra Bland, George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, and the government just implemented a database where law enforcement nationwide can vet an officer before they hire them. So I just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention.
I appreciate you. But you know what's so crazy, Savannah? The news got it as soon as he did this in 2.2 seconds. They brought up his history. They could do a little better without the database and to find out about somebody. This job is serious.
And 64 years is extreme. I think there was red flags for them anyway.
Right. And just unhinged. He lost it because she used her words and said, I rebuke the name of Jesus. And this man lost his stuff. Lost it. There's more video. I can't even bear to watch it. The father just broke my heart. Broke my heart. So sad. I'm just going to give an update. We're not going to really talk about this story. I just want to give an update because I put all of these together because it's unprotected, disrespected, and misdirected. Right? So it's the title of tonight's live. I just want to give the update of this. Terrell Davis, the ex-NFL player who was arrested. Well, he was handcuffed on the United Airlines. And so they want to say that with the word they was given is that he was dangerous. For somebody to be dangerous and you approach them so calmly on the airline talking about you've been down and told them just comply. You really going to approach somebody that you heard was dangerous like that? So they're full of it. And Terrell and his family, they need to own Own United Airlines when this is done. Own it.
Look at the moment. Pro Football Hall of Famer Terrell Davis was handcuffed aboard a United Airlines flight earlier this month. He says that during the flight from Denver to Orange County, California, he lightly tapped a flight attendant to ask for a cup of ice for his son, and the flight attendant shouted to him, "Don't hit me." This never-before-seen video shared with CBS News by Davis's attorney, Parker Steiner, shows FBI and other law enforcement agents on the plane. You can see one agent lean over and handcuff a still-seated Davis before leading him away quietly off of the plane. And Davis's wife, who was with their kids on the other side of the aisle, standing up, trying to address them to find out what's going on. Davis says officers questioned him and then let him go. He spoke to us here on CBS Mornings just days after the incident.
They come straight to me, and the agent walks up to me, and he leans over, whispers, "Don't fight it," and put the cuffs on me. And that moment, I felt all of my dignity. I felt powerless. I felt embarrassed. I felt like, what the hell is going on?
Wow. The Davis family is still asking that question, by the way. Their family and the lawyers say they now plan to file a lawsuit for false accusations and emotional distress. In a previously released statement, United says that the company has reached out to the family to apologize. They also have removed the flight attendant from duty, and they promised to review their policies. The FBI told CBS News that agents were responding to a request by United of a report of a violent assault, and their investigation is continuing.
Violent assault.
Yeah, so you can imagine from the Davis point of view that, they think this is nothing because the flight attendant, that incident, the flight went on. And Terrell told us, because Tony, you were at the convention, he told us at the time when FBI agents got on, they were told he was thinking it was a medical emergency. So the last thing he's thinking is that they're coming to have anything to do with him. When you could see he said the FBI agent leaned over and said, "Don't fight it." And you're wondering, what's happening here?
It sounds like the FBI read the situation pretty well.
They
and
did.
Kept it calm.
They did. And
They're just
United
responding to a
also,
call from United. They don't know what it is.
United clearly regrets this too and wants to make it right.
Absolutely.
They got a call saying it was a violent situation, and they walk on to the violent person talking about, "Just be calm. Let me put cuffs on you." Make that make sense. It don't make sense. It don't make sense. This disrespect has got to stop. That just doesn't make sense. I'm a violent person that they needed to call y'all. So when we land this plane, y'all come handle me, and y'all walk up to violence and say, "Stay calm. I just don't fight it. I'm going to put the cuffs on you." It's a mess. I'm going to roll right into the last story. I don't know if I could call it a feel-good story, but it's interesting. I thought it was interesting. I'm going to go ahead and play it.
Regret the things we don't do more than the things we do. It's not an uncommon observation. And St. Poe, just ahead of Valentine's Day. Susan Spencer looks at romance and regret.
Strolling with her partner on the Brooklyn waterfront, writer Deborah Kopeikin looks happy and in love. But she admits to a few romantic regrets along the way.
I can't imagine a single human being alive today who has had at least one relationship who doesn't regret something.
Kopeikin, now 57, says one of her big regrets goes back to when she was just 22.
So tell me the story of the one that got away.
Back in 1989, I was in Jamaica and I met a young man. And after a week together, I felt like I had fallen in love with him.
They briefly had to part ways, he to London to study theater, she to Afghanistan to cover the war. But they soon reunited for 10 romantic days in England.
I thought, this guy's it. I am in love. This is the relationship of my lifetime.
Alas, it was not to be.
He said he was going to come visit me in Paris 2 weeks later. And I was in my apartment waiting around. He never showed up.
What do you mean he never showed up?
He just never showed up.
Back then, of course, there were no cell phones, no internet.
He had a very common name. And it's not like you could find somebody back then with a common name, right?
So he's just gone.
He's gone. He's gone.
How did you react to this?
I mean, how would you react? I was sad. And I was also confused and heartbroken.
Do you think that romantic regret can last a lifetime?
Yes, I mean, we see people in their 80s, in their 90s with these romantic regrets. It sticks with people.
Romantic regret, like all regret, is universal, says Washington, D.C. author Daniel Pink.
Everybody has regrets. I mean, we have evidence from neuroscience, from social psychology, from cognitive science that the only people who truly don't have regrets are 5-year-olds. People with certain kinds of neurodegenerative diseases don't have regrets, and sociopaths don't have regrets. Everybody else has regrets.
For his book on the subject, Pink collected more than 26,000 regrets, many of them from the lovelorn.
So this is the database of the regrets. You see up here.
A vast inventory of unfulfilled love from 134 countries.
Not asking out a high school friend on a date. Look at this, high school.
High school is
53.
53. Yeah.
That's 35 years ago.
That's the most common regret, he says.
Yeah.
Not taking action. I turned down a second chance at a relationship with someone I loved. She's 40. She lives in Maryland.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Oh, here we go. How about this one right here?
Not telling her I loved her.
Exclamation point. 54-year-old man from Wisconsin.
We're interviewing an art critic who thinks that romantic regret is an underlying theme in much great art. But what's your take on that?
I think that it could be. I mean, I think that if it's painting or sculpture or works on paper, it could be another way to make sense of this feeling.
But that's
Yeah.
the good thing about it, you know?
Jackson Arn is that art critic. He writes for The New Yorker.
If the premise is that romantic regret is universal, is art the proof of that?
I think art is the proof of that. No matter what else the painting is about, no matter what else the work of art is about, you can almost hear it humming underneath all the other melodies, so to speak.
He says that wistful humming can be heard all over the Metropolitan Museum of Art, where we met for our interview.
Rodin had a PhD in regret, as far as I'm concerned.
And it's not just Rodin. Examples through the ages are in museums all over the world.
It could be Edvard Munch falling in and out of love with an older married woman, and he turned the experience into a whole series of paintings called Love and Pain.
How about Edward Hopper? I mean, I think of those solitary figures, and something has happened there.
That's the thing. Something has happened. Maybe it's sexual, maybe it's romantic.
You also had picked a painting by Carrie James Marshall called Could This Be Love?
Could this be love? That's always the question, isn't it? We are seeing a romantic scene, but we don't know whether they're coming or going. We don't know if they're beginning an affair or if they're ending the affair. It could be love. It could be the end of love.
And you've even gone so far, I think, as just say that love and heartbreak might even be the main reason to make art.
Love has always been a great cause of pain, and art is sometimes the best therapy for it.
For Deborah Kopeikin, the best therapy is what she recommends in her book, Learn from Regret. That's what she did 21 years after her Paris heartbreak, when she finally tracked down the one that got away.
And I wrote an email and I said, hey, are you the same John Doe that stood me up in Paris back in 1989?
You jerk.
And he wrote back pages and pages saying, I did go to Paris. I arrived in Paris. I didn't have the piece of paper with your phone number on it. I ended up staying at a youth hostel, and I never found you again.
Movies have been made about this.
I know.
And Affair to Remember. This is exactly what happened to you.
I was looking up. It was the nearest thing to heaven. You were there. Oh, darling.
I love that movie.
You have a unique perspective on that movie.
Kopeikin and her old love reunited for lunch on a bench in Central Park. But unlike in the movies, they did not then ride off together into the sunset. Both were already married.
And it's not that I wanted to marry him. It's not that I wanted to blow up 2 families and, who that would have been terrible, right? But it did make me understand what was lacking in my marriage. I realized at that moment that my marriage was faltering and I needed to get out of it.
Which brings us back to that Brooklyn waterfront. Now divorced and 35 years since Paris, Kopeikin has found true love with someone new, happier perhaps, because of her past regrets. No surprise to author Daniel Pink.
We have this emotion, regret, that makes us feel bad. So why would it be so ubiquitous? And it's because it's useful if we treat it right, and we haven't been treating it right. What we should be doing is looking it in the eye, acknowledging it, thinking about it, using it as data.
You can choose.
All right, I guess it just does not want us to see the end of this video, and it's almost at the end.
To decide whether you can use that regret as fuel. If you use regret to make changes, positive changes in your life, then regret is the best fuel in the world.
I thought it was a good, interesting piece. I really hope y'all enjoyed it. Listen, guys, thanks for being here. I appreciate y'all. And I appreciate the panel for holding me down while I had to step away to go get the kid. I love y'all. Y'all held me down. I truly, truly appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Y'all know the routine. If you didn't hit the like button coming in, hit it on the way out. Prayers for just everybody on this panel, because each story had its own, different, unique tragedy and experience. It's just very, very sad. I'm sorry, Dustin, you wanted to say something?
I just wanted to say that the last story you had before you had the feel good story about Governor David Pritzker. He's my governor. So I hope he steps up, or if he needs to be getting out of office, he needs to step up, because I don't think he should be allowed to be in office because he don't do anything. So that's my opinion about that, Diva. You need to step up. That's pretty sad, in my opinion. That's sad.
I appreciate you. Thank you, Dustin. All right, everybody. Hit the like button. I'll see you on the next video. Good night and goodbye, everybody.